I'm Chris Vigario, and this is Fishin'MagicianTV. What is up, everybody? And I am your host, Chris Vigario, and welcome to the Fishin'MagicianTV.com podcast. Well, the fishing has been pretty good. It has not been lights out, but there are still a lot of striped bass being caught from Sandy Hook, Long Branch, Asbury Park, even down in Long Beach Island in Atlantic City. The fishing is hot for the bass, and of course it is my favorite time right now. Tog season, 5-man limit, and it is not lights out, but there are still some nice fish being caught. I haven't seen too many double digits, just a few, to be honest. But get out there on the jetties, get out on the charter boat. Captain Eric Kerber on a mission fishing charters has been doing pretty good with the tog. Hasn't been lights out, but they're doing very well. Captain Jerry Pastorino on the Fishmonger doing phenomenal with the tog. But yeah, it's been great. So this week we sat down with Captain Eric Kerber and Joe Cermele, who is the fishing senior editor at themeateater.com, and honestly, I had a blast doing it, especially when I get to sit down and talk to people who over the years I have learned so much from. And it was great to sit down and talk to these guys. So I hope you enjoy. Check it out. Are cold and the food is sizzling, and we're here with my main man, Captain Eric Kerber.
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
Chilling, man. It's another beautiful day. You just got back here from the charter?
That's it. Little stripers, little tog today.
Nice.
Bluefish, couple bluefish got in our way.
That's good. So, what exactly is on a mission fishing? What kind of boat are you on?
On a mission fishing, 28 Grady White.
Okay.
4-pack charters is what I do. Bottom fishing, we can do 5. But I try and keep it simple, you know, four-person private charters. And that's it, man. Everything from fluke to tunas, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of special for me because I did catch my very first mahi on this boat. But
we do a lot of mahi fishing on my boat, dude. A lot of dolphin fishing.
What you call it? What is the phrase you use? A fish so pretty it was named twice?
Fish so nice they named it twice.
There you go. So, how many days a year does your charter run?
I'm running like anywhere from 2 to 40.
Nice. Start off your season in Raritan Bay, right?
Yeah, I start off Raritan Bay, April to mid-May. You know, about a month and a half or so up in Raritan Bay, fishing out of Raritan Marina, Lawrence Harbor.
And then for the rest of the year, you're down here.
The rest of the year, I'm in Belmont.
Okay, that's good.
Fishing out of Belmont.
So basically, you fish for everything that swims. Basically, what is your favorite fish that?
If we can bend a rod with it, we'll go catch it. Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing to fish for?
The Jersey? Yeah. I like tuna fishing, dude. I really do. And the mahi fishing.
Yeah.
Sight fishing mahi on the box is fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like chasing bluefins probably. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Tile fishing's fun too, though, man. Like,
yeah. Those deep drops.
I've been getting into the deep drop stuff a lot up here, only because it's new to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's something new, and I don't have a whole lot of spots for it, so like I'm trying a lot of new area. The tile fishing's fun, man. I do. I enjoy the tile fishing.
That's good.
And they're goddamn delicious.
Yeah, they are. So for a lot of people who watch this show, like me, we also used to watch a lot of a show called HOOKSHOTS.
HOOKSHOTS, man. Yep.
Which is where I heard of you and where I actually got to get your number and call you up for a charter. And you know, how did that start out for you?
HOOKSHOTS was, well, Joe, my buddy Joe. He was, working obviously in Field and Stream, and that started as a blog. It was kind of like a blog thing on the website, Field and Stream. It just blossomed into a web show. You know what I mean? And we ended up doing 12 seasons, like 12 seasons of HOOKSHOTS. It was crazy, man. Like it just took off and turned into what it turned into. It was pretty cool.
Just to say that it was entertaining is an understatement. I mean, I learned, me personally, I learned a lot of stuff from that show, and it got me intrigued to catch a whole bunch of different styles of fish. And for that, I want to say thank you. And,
that's what it was. That's what it was about. It was about getting our generation into fishing. We're showing people that you can be a punk rocker and go fishing. Like it's cool. Like you know what I mean? Like,
I hear that.
Yeah, awesome, bro. Awesome. That's what it was about.
Yeah, like I still watch a shit ton of reruns. Like yesterday, I was watching them at work. When the time is down at work, and that's how I get my day going and passes the time, and I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, dude, because that was HOOKSHOTS was a big part of my life for the last 12 years. So
I would be lying if I didn't say this. And the whole inspiration behind Fishing Magician TV was watching you and JC all those years. And when that show finished, I'm just like, man, the world's not going to see HOOKSHOTS anymore. And that's what inspired me to do this show.
It was tough, man. It was tough that it was ending, but at the same time, like this is what it's all about. Like that's what it's all about. Is that you're doing this, from it. There's a lot of other people, throughout the country that are doing some fishing web stuff and getting into the YouTubes. And, you know what I mean? Like it definitely, without a doubt, influenced a lot of people, and it's cool. And JC's moving to bigger and better things now. He's gonna have. Stay tuned, man. There's something big coming.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I can really say it right now.
Okay.
Get into the details, but JC's got stuff coming with his new gig at EV.
Yeah, I actually listen to JC every Friday on Ben.
Oh, the Ben podcast.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Ben podcast is good, man.
Definitely check that out every Friday on themeateater.com/Ben.
Yeah, the Ben podcast is good, but you just wait, dude. We got. Well, I'm not gonna say we, but JC, he's got something coming.
That's good, man. I mean, I'm hoping for 2021 we can film a lot of stuff together. That'd be pretty cool. And I'm hoping so. But yeah, man, I want to thank you for taking the time out and talking to us, and letting people know what On a Mission Fishing is. And I'll drop a link down below where you can contact Captain Kerber, book a charter all year long, fresh and saltwater trips. So,
yep, fresh and salt, Delaware River on the
senior fishing editor at the Meat Eater. How you doing, bud?
What's going on, Chris? How you doing, man? I'm
Pretty good, man. Just another long day getting it done. You know how it goes.
Yeah, it's the end of both of our days. So we both worked a full day, and now we're gonna shoot the shit. But it's good. I find this relaxing. So
it's great to sit down and talk to you. I've been watching you for years, and just let the people know who you are and what you do. And where are you from, and how'd you get into fishing?
Trenton, New Jersey. I was born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. Moved to Lawrenceville right outside Trenton a little later. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm a Jersey guy my whole life. Fishing's been on both sides of the family. My grandfather had boats. My family had a boat in Atlantic City for years when I was little. We'd spend every weekend on. My grandparents on my mom's side owned Brunswick Sports and Hardware in Trenton, right on the border with Lawrenceville. So there was a bait and tackle shop in the family. It's always been there, man,
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. So how old are you when you first picked up a rod?
Probably 3 years old, and it was cool. My grandfather on my mom's side passed away long before I was born, but even then my grandmother and my mom took me fishing as much as my dad and grandfather on the other side. So both sides of the family always had me out, somewhere, the canal, the pond, Rosedale Lake. Graduated to the river later.
I started off really young too. The first fish I ever reeled in was I was at Cliffwood Beach with my pops.
Mm-hmm.
And he felt it, and he knew exactly what it is. And he passes me the rod, and he says, "Reels this shit in."
Yeah.
So I reel it in. It's a damn 15-pound bluefish, and that's how I got hooked. Fighting bluefish on light tackle was pretty fun.
Yeah, man. I remember when I was little, my dad and I would go out on the night bluefish trips on the party boats every summer a few times. And sadly, you and I both know that just doesn't exist anymore, But back in the day when we were kids in the summer, every night those bluefish boats ran, and we'd have so many slammer blues you wouldn't even know what to do with them. I just kept throwing them in the burlap sack, and they were the days, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, they're not really all that great tasting. There are some people who figured out how to make them pretty good, like Kerber, for instance. But it's just they are a fun fighting fish. They don't disappoint at all.
Yeah. Well, Kerbs, though, to be fair, he'll throw anything in the smoker and call it good. I call him Smokey Robinson. If he's not fishing, he's home smoking something. He's going to listen to this, and he's going to call me up and bitch about it, but that's too bad. Smokey Robinson.
There we go. So how did you get started in this industry?
Oh, man, that's a really long story, but I'll try and keep it short. Always loved to write. I was always pretty good at it through elementary school and stuff, and when it came time to go to college, I originally wanted to go away to school for recording engineering. I always played in punk and hardcore bands growing up until I realized that to get into those programs, you had to be like a really good musician, and all I could do was play chugga chugga power chords. So I was like, well, shit, that's not going to work. But I love to write. So I got a pretty sweet deal and some money out of Rider University, right in my hometown, to get in their journalism program. So sort of started there. That went to had an internship. I used to do tournament coverage and club tournament coverage for New Jersey Angler magazine, which you probably remember. That's sadly long gone, but that's where I got my start. If I wasn't covering a bass tournament, I'd be at a flea market at the table selling subscriptions to that magazine, way back from when I was in college. And really, sort of to fast forward to now, to be honest, a lot of getting to where I am had to do with lucky breaks, sort of no different than being in a band. You meet the right people at the right time and get your foot in the right door, and then you got to prove yourself and work your ass off once you get into all those doors. But, through connections, I got hooked up with the right people at Saltwater Sportsman. They hired me in New York City right out of college. I went full-time to Saltwater Sportsman, was there for a few years, went to Field and Stream. From there, that was a sister publication. I worked on their website back when websites weren't even that big a deal for the outdoor space then. That was in the early 2000s, 2006-ish. And but my real goal there was to become the fishing editor of that magazine, and I did. I was the fishing editor at Field and Stream for 10 years. That's what I did just before leaving for Meat Eater. So
nice, man. And speaking of Field and Stream, that's how I came to know who you are. And for years, you kept me and so many people entertained and just learning so much stuff with that show, HOOKSHOTS. And, when that show ended, I got to say I was truly sad about it. I was just like, man, the world doesn't have hook shots anymore. What's going on?
No, I know, and I feel like this is actually a good forum, which is probably going to be some HOOKSHOTS people that tune into this. Man, I was sad too. No doubt about it. But there's how should I put it? There's what you guys see in HOOKSHOTS, but then there's also always a behind the scenes to everything. You know what I mean? Like it's not always just sort of the face value. And Field and Stream, they paid for that for 11 years. I created that as a full-time employee. So even though it was sort of my baby, when it comes down to it, Field and Stream owned HOOKSHOTS, not me. Yeah. So, when it came time to sort of change things up, I saw a really great opportunity in MeatEater, because that's the kind of content that they put first. Videos, podcasts, they do that so well. So it was an opportunity I couldn't really pass up. But yeah, unfortunately, that meant HOOKSHOTS had to come to a close. That said, while I appreciate so much how people miss it, I really do. Like it's really truly touching. At the same time, like I couldn't be more proud. We did that for 11 years. Like it wasn't a fleeting couple years. Like we got to do that for over a decade, which doesn't happen very often. So I don't feel like I left anything on the table. And it was really appealing, and I'm really glad that I made the leap, because now, instead of having HOOKSHOTS as sort of a side project to your main magazine work, my full-time job is podcasts and videos. Like that's what I get to do now. And a lot of people have said, and understandably so, right? They're like, "Oh, dude, you went to MeatEater. Like, are they going to do another HOOKSHOTS? Are they going to do another like HOOKSHOTS style video or short video like that?" And I can't give away too much, but the answer to that is yes. It's just important to understand that when I was doing HOOKSHOTS, because I ran that whole show, I would just go film what I want, cut it, post it, film one, cut it, post it. And MeatEater is very much about strategy, and they're very good at promoting that kind of content. So suffice it to say, things are being filmed right now. You guys might not see them for a little while, but there are good things that I think all the old HOOKSHOTSers out there will dig very much coming in the next couple months.
Yeah, we had a little birdie earlier on the show. Curbs had told us that you had something in the works. And,
there's a strong possibility you're going to see Curbs in all his glory in the inaugural run of this new project. So, anybody who's listening, going, man, when are you going to do videos? Bear with me, I am, and I'm really proud of them. I'm really excited about them, and I think the old crowd will really dig them. You just, MeatEater, they like a plan. We're going to film them all, cut them all, prove them all, make a launch plan, set a launch date. And it's very different from how I operated with HOOKSHOTS, but I'm learning so much about the process, and they really know what they're doing in terms of promoting that kind of media. So even though you might have to wait a little while, it'll be worth it, I promise.
And I can honestly say I'm pretty sure it's going to be worth the wait. I mean, as soon as Curbs told me that, I had a little buzz, like, oh man.
I don't know what he told you. If you said he was drunk on Yingling, he probably said too much. So,
well, he told us all that you had some stuff in the works and over with MeatEater, and I was like, that's great, and I can't wait to see what you got for us, man. Honestly, I really can't wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't even been there a year. It's all happened so fast, and then of course, like I got hired, and a week later there was the COVID lockdown. So like basically the first 8 months of being at MeatEater has been wrapped up in COVID, and really they're so podcast driven. Like podcasts are so important to their program that the first priority out of the gate was get a new fishing podcast going before videos, before all that, get that established. So we spent most of the summer putting a ton of work into crafting Bent, which we're almost 20 episodes into now. It's been almost 4 months, and having a ton of fun doing that show too. It's a very different format from the HOOKSHOTS podcast, where I basically just talk to a dude, and this one's more broken up. And I think it took some people some time to come around, and early on it was like, I'm not sure about this, and I'm getting more and more people going, yeah, I love this now. So I think we're a couple months in and really hitting our stride there, but getting a podcast going was priority when I got there. So
yeah, I mean, and I think the Ben podcast is pretty cool. I do work a full-time job besides doing this, and every Friday That's what I listen to.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. You guys have me entertained at work, definitely.
Yeah, well, I got to admit, man, I went from being full on DIY. So the video stuff that I'm working on now, I'm still cutting and editing. But I did the old podcast for 2 years, and man, towards the end, you get it. Like the editing of audio is so not fun compared to editing video. Like you're just editing wavy lines. So Meat Eater has such great production team, right? Such amazing engineers that now it's like we just get to record the stuff and write stuff and interview people, dump it all in a folder, and the awesome engineers there put it all together. So I'm like,
no, that's awesome.
You know, I would not have been able to do a weekly in the old days. I wouldn't have just had the bandwidth to record and cut one for every single week. So it's really refreshing to be in a position where we are, you know, out there every week now, every Friday.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I know it's tough work, and I know it's not easy just from now getting some experience doing it. But I mean, one of the main things I've always admired of you and Kerb, you guys never fed anybody bullshit. Like when you guys had a tough day, we saw it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just, oh, hey, I got a 20 pounder. You know what I'm saying? Every cast, it was a lot of times where I know the most frustrating episodes that I think were the most frustrating for you was the muskie on the fly.
To this day, I get more people busting my chops about muskies on the fly than anything else because, you know, we did it once years ago. We suffered for 4 days, and with like 2 miles left in the float on the last day, my buddy Rich Hahn from Sims stuck one. So, okay, victory. And then everybody was like, yeah, but you haven't gotten one. So then I went and did it again a couple years later, and then we caught nothing. We caught 0 muskies. So people love to bust my chops about that, and you know, it's interesting because I always say that if I had grown up in the Midwest, I could see myself being a hardcore muskie guy. Like, how could you not be? It's this big badass fish out there, this big predator. But growing up on the East Coast, where you and I grew up, we have so much variety. Like in any direction here, whether you go to the coast, the mountains, down south, the catfish, like we have so much variety that people are always like, oh, you still haven't gotten your muskie on the fly. And my answer is always, well, I could have if like every free time, if all the free time I had to go fishing, I just went to places and threw flies for muskies, I would have gotten several by now. But I just want to do too much other stuff, man. And, you know, you get older, you have kids, you don't have as much free time to go run around and fish whenever you want. So I'll get that muskie eventually, but do I want it bad enough to like not go tuna fishing or like get on a striper bite to go do that if I have a free day? No, not really. You know,
exactly.
So, and utmost respect to the muskie dudes and the muskie fly dudes. I'm friends with so many of them, and I have such a respect for what they do. And yeah, I'll get there eventually, but I can't make it my life's work, man. I can't, you know?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, to touch back to what you said, I mean, we have so much awesome things to fish for here in Jersey, whether it's fresh or salt. You know, it's hard to just stick to say, hey, I want to catch this one fish and that's it.
Yeah.
And I know you do both. You do salt and fresh. And I'm like 99.6% of a salt guy. And it's like if you put me in the ocean, I'm gonna find fish and I'm gonna catch them. But if you put me in a pond that's, let's say, 100 yards, I'm completely lost.
Well, all right, because that's interesting because it's the exact opposite. Like if you put me on a giant lake or out in the middle of the ocean, I mean, you know, electronics and stuff aside, maybe I will get it done, maybe I won't. But you could put me on any river in the world. I mean, I guess it's similar to what we're saying. Like, you know how to read sort of the coastal stuff in the ocean.
Yeah.
Once you know how to read a river, it doesn't matter if it's in the Amazon or in Canada. Like, fish tend to be in the same places within a river. So I'm very comfortable, you know, with rivers. I struggle the most with lake fishing. Like the thing I do the least is lake fishing, especially big lake fishing, like a farm pond. Yeah, all day. But and again, I think that's just sort of the culture around here. Like where I grew up, there's not a huge big lake culture here. We have some big lakes, a Pat Kong and stuff like that. But you know, then you go out to the Midwest or up in Canada with these, you know, 100 square acres. These giant lakes are up on the Great Lakes. Yeah. It's just sort of, you didn't grow up with that opportunity. So that's where I'm the most lost, is on a gigantic lake.
You know, up until now, I've never had a boat before, so I've always
You know, I'm either when I go fishing on the salt, you know, it's either party boat or charter boat, you know, yada yada. Now the freshwater, I have been on a freshwater lake one time in a boat, and supposedly it was stacked with pickerel somewhere in New Brunswick. And I'm like, you know what? I've never caught a pickerel before. This is going to be cool. Dude, we fished for 9 hours. I didn't even get a tap. I'm like, this is just definitely not my game. This is not for me.
Something was way off if you were in a lake loaded with pickerel and you fished for 9 hours without a touch. Well, no disrespect, but pickerel are pretty dumb.
Supposedly loaded with pickerel, so I don't want to shoot my skills down that much, but supposedly loaded with pickerel. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just from you know, guy to guy and podcaster to podcaster, I want to say thank you for what you did, because like we talked about COVID, you know, it's a terrible thing that we're going through, but it was also a blessing for a lot of people, including somebody like me, because for the first 2 months, what do you think I was doing? I was sitting at home watching HOOKSHOTS videos, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd be lying if I didn't say this. Like I told Kerbs earlier, HOOKSHOTS is the complete inspiration to why I started doing this. And for all those years, you know, of entertaining and teaching so much stuff, I want to just say thank you for that.
Well, dude, I appreciate that, man. And you don't know how much that means to me. It's also, I have to laugh a little from my side, because I've heard people say that before. And it's like, honestly, man, for those 11 years, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were just like, I got a video camera for Christmas one year and we're like, let's just go. I didn't know how to edit video. Not like the whole thing was just completely off the cuff. I didn't know how to make a podcast. I didn't know anything about anything. So, you know, it was fun figuring that stuff out. And the irony is, like, now coming to Meat Eater and working with such a great team, it's like in the stuff that I learned in the last 8 months that I'm going, oh shit, like I wish I knew that when I was doing HOOKSHOTS.
Yeah.
Like, my podcast would have sounded a lot better if I just knew that one thing. So, you know, that was part of the fun of HOOKSHOTS was, and still now, you know, I don't think I've ever taken myself too seriously. It's kind of my shtick. Like, this is fishing. It's supposed to be fun. And like, you know, I don't really consider myself an expert. I've gotten to fish in cool places, but I'm always there to learn. I'm always interested in learning from other people. I never want to show up and act like I know more than you do. Like, no, this is your turf, man. This is your fishery. And I always looked at it like I have this loud megaphone, but what I want to do is give it to you for 15 minutes in HOOKSHOTS. Like, I'll be there, but like, you're the man here. This is your turf. And I've always sort of carried that with me. And I think a lot of the stuff that we're doing now is the same thing. You know, we want to promote charter captains and people in the industry and personalities on the bench show. You know, it's all about sort of giving that megaphone to the people that deserve it.
I gotta say though, the funniest moment, and this is the moment I knew you were badass, was that first episode when I saw you order a pizza from a boat and he delivered it, to the freaking bank. That was awesome.
Dude, that was episode 1, and it's funny because a lot of those episodes, they didn't make it onto YouTube for a few years. So like, it probably says on YouTube that was 2013 or something. That was 2008, man. I mean, that episode is ancient. And to this day, people still bring up the pizza that we ordered when we were shad fishing. But the funny thing is, again, like talking about like just going off the cuff, that was not something that we were like, oh man, this would be really funny if we did this. No, that captain, he does that all the time. He calls up for pizza. They know who he is. So we were just hungry. And he's like, you want me to call for a pizza? We're like, yeah, sure. And he pulled it. And we just happened to film it, and everybody loved that. And I'm like, oh, dude, like that wasn't something staged. Like we were trying to be funny. Like we just ordered a pizza. But all these years later, 12 years later, people are still like, I remember when you ordered that pizza on the boat. Like, dude, that was the first one ever. I was in that episode like, hi, I'm Joe. Hi. Like I didn't know how to talk to a camera, nothing. We were totally playing around, but that's where it started, you know? And I will say it was goofy stuff like that early on that definitely sort of set the tone of what we were about. You know, even though we weren't trying to go out of our way to make a joke with the pizza, it was just little bullshit like that sort of set up like, again, that we're not taking ourselves too seriously here. We're just having a good time, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the best part when you can, you know, have a job and have fun doing it. You know, that's even better.
Yeah, dude. I have to say, man, it's so I've been at this for little over 15 years now, and never take it for granted. Like, still wake up every day and go, I don't believe that I get to do this. Like I'm very, very grateful for it, and it's a fun job. It can be stressful at times, but so can all jobs.
About the best topic of them all, man, fishing. I know you are a fly guy. I know you do fresh and salt, but like if I called you tomorrow at 5 a.m. and said, Joe, I'm picking you up. I don't care if I got to drag you by chains on my Jeep. Where are we going? Fresh or salt water?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'd have to go striper fishing, man. Like there's just too many around still. Like I know it's getting late in the season, but just looking at Kerber's, that is one thing I got to give Kerber props. I miss Kerber, and I mean that in the sense that we used to fish together a lot more, but his business is doing great. Dude's booked all the time. Like I can't get on the boat with but I miss it because we used to fish together so much more. But I look at his post every day, and every day I'm like, like these pictures of the fish finder and everything he's out there doing. Yeah. So if we were going tomorrow, there's still enough fish around to get in on a good jig bite, even if it's with schoolies. So that would be my pick for tomorrow. And yes, I am a fly guy. I love to fly fish very much, but I'm an everything guy. I am certainly not that dude that would, pick fly over all else. Like to me, a fly rod's another tool. There's times when that's either what I want to do and feel like doing, or it's the better thing for whatever we're fishing for. But dude, you've watched my shit. I'll do anything. Live bait, chicken livers, jig. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, because of you now, I have a new aspiration catching tunas on poppers.
Yeah, man. I mean, why not? I love that. I love that.
That's gonna be fun as hell to watch it blow up on top water like that. I haven't done that. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, man, like I didn't get out there this year. I jigged some yellowfins with Eric early October. We had a good day. We had a good run, but didn't get out there as much as I wanted to. So I haven't popped one in a couple seasons. But yeah, I kind of latched onto that a few years ago. And it's hard not to if you're watching guys like John McMurray, who's starting at Long Island, the master. But yeah, kind of latched onto that. Though I will say that I'm not super snotty about, in the sense that I have a lot of respect for the guys who go out and like it's pop jig or nothing. I'm not like that. If I'm paying up for the gas money to go 70 off and we can't pop them, put the spreader bars out. Like I want it in the box. That's the only thing I don't mind trolling on. You know what I mean?
Man. We want tuna tacos.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good. I was talking to Kerber about maybe me, him, and you, if we can all set it up, get on a trip and do some filming and get in. Are you down to do something like that?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
All right, man, that sounds awesome.
You want to do it this season, or you talking about when it gets warm next year?
I mean, I'm actually fishing Thursday because to me the best season of them all is up right now, which is tog fishing. So
yep. I do have a date with my man Kerbs for tog. We always make it a point to at least sneak one of those in. So I'm hoping that's good. Fill the freezer a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite time to go togging is actually Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm. Hey, dude, it's so funny you say that, because Thanksgiving just passed, and we were talking on the bench show about how like Thanksgiving was the striper holiday for me most of my life. It's like from high school through college, like that's what you did. You surf fished, or you jump on my old boat 4 a.m. and we'd striper fish every Thanksgiving morning. And now, like with 2 kids, it's like, yeah, I don't striper fish on Thanksgiving morning anymore.
Yeah.
So
speaking of boats, man, you still got that Tenacious?
No, I sold the old Tenacious a few years ago. Strong possibility I'm going to be back in the world of boat ownership very soon. But yeah, sold the old girl.
I just bought my first boat. It needs a little bit of work, but I'm excited as all hell to get out there on my own and just see what I can do.
Yeah.
And you always have an invite whenever you want to go out.
Well, dude, be careful. Don't tempt me with a good time, because
I'll fish 365, brother.
Oh man, I don't have my own rig right now, so I'm always bumming rides. But next season I might be back into the sled game. We'll see. But as you'll find out, man, as you already know, it's a money suck. And my old boat was running like super nice, and I'm like, you know what? Sell it while it's running super nice before something happens, and then it's worth like $100 for the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
BOAT, bust out another 1,000.
Right on, 100%.
But yeah, Joe, I want to thank you for your time, man, and coming on. And it was awesome meeting you and talking to you. And hopefully we can do a lot of work together in the future.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, and we'll get out and beat something up out there.
All right, so where can
Yeah, man. So that's the Bent podcast. That's on the Meat Eater Podcast Network. Although, as we say in the podcast, you can find that wherever you consume your podcast. So Stitcher, iTunes, we're everywhere. Google Play, or right on the Meat Eater website. That's themeateater.com.
There you go, brother. All right, man. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, Chris. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
I've never seen square nipples before, though.
And I had a blast talking to those guys, and once again I just want to give a very big thank you and shout out to the both of them for coming on this show and for over the years teaching us so much. And I think Joe was pretty right. A lot of people who might have watched HOOKSHOTS probably watched this show, and I think we all feel the same about those two. And just once again, one more very big thank you. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell. Every time we post a video, you'll know it. Alright guys, Fishing Magician, I'm out. Tight lines.